Hey everyone, Sparrow here, and today I'm talking about the narcissistic emotional abuse tactic that almost nobody talks about, but it happens all the time, and that is called conflating. I really don't like this. Oh, by the way, if you're new here, welcome. If you like this video, be sure and click the birdcage below and subscribe. I talk a lot on here about narcissistic abuse and narcissistic abuse recovery. Anyway, back to conflating. Oh my goodness. Yeah, this is a tough one. And it happens all the time. And conflating means confusing one example or situation with another example. There are endless ways to conflate. Now, I just want to say as a disclaimer, a lot of people use this tactic or they do conflate in conversations, and it doesn't necessarily mean they're a narcissist. A lot of times people are just really poor debaters and poor arguers, and they don't really understand how to give a good argument or a good debate. And so a recent example, this happened to me in my personal life with a good friend. I was talking about how eventually we're going to have to find newer energies other than gasoline and petrochemicals, especially for cars. And this person was like, well, but electric cars are no better. And I said, yeah, that might be true, but I wasn't talking about electric cars right now. I was talking about gasoline cars. We could talk about electric cars in a minute, but right now I was talking about this. And this person didn't mean to conflate. It wasn't a tactic. It was just something that, in his mind, he was going, well, yeah, I don't really like electric cars, which is totally fine, valid to have that conversation, but really was conflating the two examples or the two topics there. But narcissists take this to a whole different level, a whole different art form, and it's so maddening. So it could be anything and everything. You call them out on any behavior, and they're going to go back into your past and say, well, you did this, you said this, and a lot of times it's a completely different scenario. It's apples and oranges, and they don't take ownership, right? So they can do this about anything. Whether it's their behavior, flirting, right? If you say, hey, I saw you flirting with that girl. Well, I wasn't flirting. You're the one that flirts. You flirted with that guy who was selling you shoes. No, I didn't flirt. I just said hi and smiled and said, how was your day? Well, what do you call what I was doing? That's called flirting. You're talking to a member of the opposite sex. It's called flirting. Oh my gosh. This is just one example of many, 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 many. And so, you really want to get savvy when somebody is conflating, because number one, it's an invalid argument. And if you yourself do it, you might want to stop, because sometimes we will actually pick up on dysfunctional behaviors from the narcissist because we're around them all the time and they do it, then we start doing it. And, if you want to conflate with them, that's fine, right? All's fair in love, war, and narcissism. But if you're, in your everyday life, you don't want to conflate because it's not a great way to argue or even just debate or have a conversation. So a lot of times with a narcissist, when you call this out, then they'll use another tactic where they pretend not to understand. Well, I just don't understand what you're talking about. You're talking about flirting. I'm talking about flirting. And then what they do is try to just exhaust you with over-explaining. So don't do that, okay? Don't over-explain. But you can say, no, clearly this is conflating. You're trying to manipulate me right now, and it's not working. So one of the catch-all phrases I use with narcissists is nice try. No. Nice try, not going to work. Not going to work. And, if you are stuck in that place where you need them to understand you, you got to get over that. They're not going to understand you. And even if they could, they don't want to. They don't want to understand you because it would mean for a moment that they're not the victim of you. And that's part of their false narrative. They were the victim from the caregivers growing up in childhood, and now they're the victim of you. You could be Mary Poppins, and they're still going to be the victim of you, okay? Because that's the false narrative that they have built their entire life around. And you're not going to change it. You're just not going to change it. So don't fall for that. Don't over-explain. Just like, yeah, you're conflating. Not cool. And if they go, what is conflating? What are you talking about this conflating? Go look it up, man. You've got a dictionary on your phone. Look it up. Catch you later. walk out, walk away saying, yeah, no, I'm not interested in this conversation. Whatever it is you need to say. But yeah, conflating, it's a form of gaslighting. It's a form of deflecting. And it's like every other tactic. It's all designed. They're all designed to keep the narcissist from facing reality, to keep their false sense of self intact and the false narrative. Because remember, the self is built out of the belief system, right? And this is a faulty belief system the narcissist has. So the belief system, the false self, I mean, you're not going to penetrate that in one conversation, and you have to know that, okay? So guys, if this was helpful, please like, share, and subscribe, and drop a comment down below. Let me know what your experience has been with conflating, because in my experience, it really gets under my skin. I have to really work hard to keep my composure. I don't like it. I don't like being manipulated in general. The good news is I've pretty much gotten the narcissist out of my life. There might be one or two stragglers here or there, but they're on their way out. But for the most part, I've gotten the narcissist out of my life, and I'm much happier as a result, as will you be if you haven't done so already. So guys, as always, hug yourself from me, and we'll see you next time.